You probably clicked on this video because you are concerned about climate change, as am I. And I say this all the time when I'm canvassing, but there are a lot of people out there that don't really care about the environment, or they may not even believe in climate change. But the majority of people do care, they're just not really doing anything about it. I wanted to make this video to illustrate that the real problem is not denialism, it is apathy. To provide a little context, I work for Greenpeace as a fundraiser. And I'll get through my entire pitch and the person is super receptive, they care about these issues, and when I get to the donation part, they're like, "Ooh, you want money?"
What I'm saying is the planet's on fucking fire. There are a lot of things we could do to put it out. Are any of them free? No, of course not. Nothing's free, you idiots. Grow the fuck up.
Some people genuinely don't have any money to give, but I think that most people do. They just don't have their priorities in order. According to an article in The Atlantic, there has been a surge in fear about climate change. Yet about 70% of Americans say that they wouldn't pay $10 a month to help cool the warming planet. This is astounding. Yes, believe it or not, we need money to win campaigns. Don't get me wrong, denial was a problem for a long time. The fossil fuel industry really succeeded in manufacturing doubt in the mind of the public. I would highly recommend reading the book Merchants of Doubt to learn more about the strategy behind this. But it is now 2019 and we've reached a point where the majority of people do agree that climate change is a problem that humans have caused and want change. If you look at polling data, you'll see that this is true even in countries where denial is the strongest, like in the US. It is apathy and learned helplessness that are holding us back from taking the necessary steps to address this crisis. We simply lack political will and personal responsibility. You could argue that denial is still a problem in the sense that many people recognize that climate change is a real threat, but they're in denial about the extent of the problem. It hasn't quite hit them that we are in a crisis and this is an emergency. They fail to grasp the urgency. A lot of liberals seem to think that it is the Republican Party that is holding us back from taking action on climate change. What is interesting is how can a minority be running the show? Right now, those with the money, like the fossil fuel industry, hold all the power. But we have the power to take back that power, because what scares people in power the most is people power. All right, I'm gonna stop saying power now. And just a note, posting on Facebook is not activism. That is what they call slacktivism. Facebook posts and prayers and putting out positive vibes into the universe are not going to save this planet. We need people to take to the streets, start striking from their school and work, and join the Extinction Rebellion. We can bang our heads against the wall all day, arguing with climate deniers and blaming them. Or we can take action and inspire people around us to start taking action themselves, getting politically active, and making lifestyle changes. It is so much easier to inspire someone who cares to get active than to convince someone who is utterly delusional that they're wrong. Take canvassing, for example. My job is to raise money for Greenpeace, and I have a quota to make. Do you think I'm going to waste my time conversing with idiots that think climate change is a hoax? No, because that's not economical for Greenpeace. I'm gonna be like, bye, have a nice day, and move on. My job is to go out and find the kindred spirits that can be persuaded into donating to Greenpeace, not to argue with Kool-Aid drinking Republicans. The point is, we do not have time to waste on these people. It is way more productive to go out and mobilize the people who agree that this is a problem that we need to address.
You talked about people who have become desensitized to climate change, but what about people who are just blatantly spreading misinformation? Like, how do you best approach people who are just completely in denial? How's the best way to approach someone saying, no, that's not true?
Yeah, Greta, how do you deal with a denier?
I don't.
This is my plea to everyone out there who claims to care about the future of this planet. To my liberal, progressive friends and family, I see you. I see you posting articles on Facebook about Trump cutting funding to the EPA and reacting with sad face emojis when I share articles about the Arctic melting at a very scary rate. But I also see you when you post pictures eating meat, dairy, and eggs, when you could easily be eating vegan alternatives to these things. Animal agriculture is responsible for 15% of global emissions, and methane is a much more potent greenhouse gas than carbon. According to the UN, we have to cut global emissions in half by 2030 in order to avert catastrophic and irreversible damage to our planet. This is a very bold target, and we either reach it or we don't. 15% is a very significant piece of that pie. Going vegan is the single biggest way that we as individuals can reduce our ecological footprint, according to the motherfucking United Nations. Yet people are so resistant to the idea of changing their diet, even in the slightest ways, like choosing oat milk over dairy milk for your coffee. Like, my God, it is so damn easy to be vegan, and we have influencers like freaking Trevor Noah insinuating that he'd rather humanity go extinct than go vegan.
Climate change. It's the gradual disaster that'll eventually wipe us out if we don't take it seriously.
Well, think about it this way. Half a pound of beef causes as much greenhouse gas to be emitted as driving 55 of these cars for 1 mile.
Chilling warnings out in a new report that says if we want to save the planet, we need to change what we put on the table and how we produce food.
Some good news, possibly, if we get rid of red meats in our diet, if we move towards vegan lifestyles, if we change how we're using the land, we might be able to reverse that damage, but the clock is ticking.
Either the world ends or we all become vegan. I mean, we've had a good run, let's be honest. Huh? We've done this Earth thing, I mean, it's good, we're done.
So much for taking this issue seriously. Actions speak louder than words, Trevor. It's wild that we live in a world where people agree with this statement, yet still fail to align their actions with their words. Yes, I recognize that we're all hypocrites. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is 100% morally consistent. But the question is, how big of a hypocrite do you want to be? How does Trevor not see the irony in accusing vegans of being sanctimonious, but also virtue signaling on his show expressing his concern about climate change? Which makes more sense? Encouraging others to take action by leading by example and taking personal responsibility? Or expressing your opinion that you're for good things and against bad things, but then shitting on people who are taking action for the very things that you claim to care about? Like, what? This kind of attitude is so much more pervasive than outright denial.
And I hope y'all understand what I'm offering you today. When you hit the door after my speech, are you aware that for the first time ever, you can now directly participate in ending a massacre? Instead of sitting around and paying lip service to all the massacres and all the problems that are always going on this planet. What is so frustrating to me when I travel this country, doing around 250 lectures every year to some 7,500 students, is that everybody talks a good game. I've noticed that people are quite the smooth talkers when it comes to peace and compassion. I mean, people always want to tell me, never show me, just tell me how peaceful they are because of what they believe in or what makes them sad. Hey Gary, I believe in God and I believe in angels and I pray all the time. And those earthquakes, the one in Chile and Haiti, oh, that was so sad. And no shit, it was sad. Since when does feeling sad about an obvious tragedy or believing in something make the world a better place or make somebody a good person? When you sit back in the comfort of your living room and you start condemning atrocities elsewhere, that is pure, unadulterated lip service. That's the definition of lip service. But veganism, this is now a chance to actually walk the compassionate talk that everybody's always talking about. This is your chance to show others how truly peaceful you are. This is a chance for a personal revolution, to leave your mark on this planet by causing the least amount of harm possible.
And my final plea is to all the vegans out there that are not active. Simply being vegan is not enough. We need everyone who is on our side to stand up and speak out for the voiceless victims, and that includes future generations and impoverished people in developing countries that are being hit hardest by climate change. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, share this video, leave a comment, do all the things so that I can grow my channel, spread this message far and wide. All right.
Yo, how when me eat them, I wonder when me eat. When me tell them say me no eat no fish, no meat now. How when me eat them, I wonder when me yam. When me tell them say that I'm a vegan man. How when me eat them, I wonder when me eat. When me tell them say me no eat no fish, no meat now.